Hello, hello, and welcome back to A Frost and Flowers. I'm very excited to get back into this game. I'm enjoying it a lot so far. So last time, if I remember correctly, it's been a minute for me. I think that she and KISHA are going to travel into the city, but then after his errand, they're gonna part ways. Or at least that's what he says, but like, let's be honest, they're not. I've played a lot of these games. They're not. But anyway, let's get right back into it. Wow, look. So many food stalls and people. Exquisite items for trade. Lots of merchants and food stalls. You've mentioned food stalls twice. Aw, I suppose I'm just hungry. The vendor's food smells amazing. KISHA handed Alto a pouch of money. I'm sorry, I don't have much oats with me, but I hope this is sufficient for you to try some of okay, I'm sorry, hold on. Of Al-Sharon's delicacies. Eh? What? No! I can't possibly take this. It's your money. Alto is quick to reject the offer and place the pouch back in KISHA's hand. But... no buts. We can't afford to waste the little money we have left. See, you know, she's using we. I notice you, okay? I see you over there. Even if they do separate, they're gonna come back together anyway, because he's the dude. He's the dude. Although the food does smell tempting, I can't afford to be a glutton in front of KISHA. Girl, who cares? Listen, I get it. When you first meet someone, you first start, you know, hanging out with somebody, you're seeing somebody, you're like, I don't want to eat too much in front of them. The right person does not care. Must hold back. Girl, just eat. If you want to eat, eat. KISHA gingerly accepted the pouch back. Well, if you insist. They continued to move alongside the crowds in the busy marketplace, their sides flanked by rowdy merchants trying to get their attention. Having heard rumors of Al-Sharon's notoriety, Alto kept her guard up at all times, wary of thieves and hooligans who might just take advantage of two foreign travelers. Say, KISHA, other than restocking on supplies, is there something else you need to do in Al-Sharon? That's a yes. KISHA? Sorry. Did you say something? Are you alright? You seem kind of on edge ever since we got here. Not that I blame you, of course. Al-Sharon's pretty famous for all sorts of crimes, but rest assured, you don't have to worry now that I'm here. It seems like we're being followed. Huh? Seriously? Keep your voice down. Don't look behind you. KISHA took Alto's hand, leading her as they weaved away from the crowds. Someone has been following us without the great Alto noticing? No way. That's quite embarrassing, right after all that bravado. Alto glanced at KISHA's bony hand gripping hers, feeling herself flush slightly. I should be protecting him, not the other way around. But I have to admit, it does feel nice to be the one protected by someone for once, especially when that someone is KISHA. Oh? What's this? His hand is so smooth. Okay. I'm sorry. I would have expected his hands to be calloused because of all his experiments, but they're surprisingly soft. Is he, a liar boy? Is he, not what he says he is? It's possible. We don't know anything about him. I wish I could hold his hand more often. Aw. Alto mentally slapped herself. What am I saying? You promised to protect him, not think about his hands. Once they were out of the throng of people, KISHA let go of her hand and furtively glanced around him. I don't feel their presence anymore. Perhaps they've stopped tailing us. That's so careless of me. I thought I had been careful, but I didn't notice anyone following us. Sorry about that. No matter. We best be careful now. After all, you were branded a criminal, and I am... And you are... Don't tell me you're wanted too, KISHA. It's nothing of that sort. Anyway, other than restocking on supplies, I need to visit Al-Sharan's library to check up on something. He's got secrets. I want to know his secrets. The library? Alright. Let's make it quick so we don't risk any more exposure. As much as I'd like to stay exploring in this city with KISHA, I can't let him be in danger. I'm a wanted woman, after all. It wouldn't be surprising if a few people recognized me here. But still, if KISHA's intuition was correct, and if someone really followed us just now, then that person must be highly skilled. There aren't many people who have tricked my senses after all. But that leaves another question. Alto snuck a glance at the man beside her. How was KISHA able to detect their presence? No. Perhaps it was just negligence on my part. My senses must have gotten rusty. This won't do. I'll have to keep my guard up. Alto's thoughts were interrupted by KISHA taking her hand again. It would be best if I were to hold your hand. A small girl like you might get lost in the crowds. A small girl? KISHA laughed, and every time he did, Alto wished she could have recorded that laugh. Wait. Hold on a second. Recorded? Are there recording devices in this fantasy world? I mean, it's possible. But usually when you see fantasy, it's always like low technology. KISHA, you seem to know these parts quite well. Could you be from around here? You could say I was born here. KISHA was silent for a while, as if choosing his next words carefully. But the city has changed a lot since I was a little boy. So KISHA's from Al-Sharan. How unexpected. Given how pale his skin is, he must not have stepped out of his house much then. Or maybe there's just lots of different kinds of people living there. I mean... Alto waited for KISHA to elaborate more about himself, but he did not continue. This guy keeps on ending his sentences with a cliffhanger. Gods, please make him open up more about himself. I want to get to know him better. Alto stared at the hand KISHA had taken from her once again. I feel like if I try to take a step closer to him, he'll disappear, and I may risk losing him. Girl, you are gonna lose him, because he literally told you before you all came here that as soon as this errand's done, he's saying goodbye to you. So perhaps this is fine. This distance is enough for us. Oh. No way. Can't be. Are my eyes deceiving me? Alto, is that really you? Why are you here? And with such a dangerous person, no less. Dangerous person? Who, KISHA? He's like a golden retriever. What are you talking about, dangerous person? Does she even know that man beside her is... No matter. I need to get rid of him before he harms her. Oh, I know he's the second love interest, but I think he's Soul. I think his name is Soul. He's like her childhood friend. I'm pretty sure that's him. Right. Now, where should we go first? Ooh. Supplies or the library? We have to do both either way, right? If I were to choose, I would choose to go to the library first. I love me some books. Let's go. Wow. This place is packed with books. Wait, what am I saying? It is a library after all. We don't have a huge library like this in my village, and I was always too busy with the night's errands to visit Zithania's library. Alto, I'll be reading some books for references. Don't worry, it'll be quick. Wait, let me come. And there he goes. But I suppose I shouldn't be disturbing him. Well, might as well read up on something now that I'm already here. Which book should I read? Ooh! The Exiled God of Knowledge, the Chalia Tribe, the Blood Moon, the Desert Falcons, that's all. Let's do the Blood Moon, that seems interesting. The Blood Moon, huh? What is this? I've never heard of this term before. Have any of you ever seen the red moon? A red moon? The other day, we recently, where I am, had all the smoke and stuff from the fires up in Canada, and it was so hazy in the sky that I could look directly at the sun without a problem, and the sun was red. It was the most bizarre thing. I think the moon was red that night too. It was very weird. I'd never seen anything like it in all my years of being alive. The book looks so worn out, contrary to the new covers beside it. I wonder if it's been read frequently. If so, this book must be quite popular. Curiosity getting the better of her, Alto pulled the book from the shelf and began leafing through it. The Blood Moon is a very rare occurrence that happens once in 1,000 years. At the night of the blood moon, the moon and sky turn red like blood. It is the only time where all nature's energy emerges into one and collects itself in a stream of flux. Having access to the flux during the night of the blood moon would enable the extraction of an inexhaustible field of nature's energy for a certain period of time. In other words, an infinite supply of magic. However, predicting the blood moon's occurrence is beyond any scholar's knowledge and is still a highly researched topic. As of now, only the gods know when it will occur. It is also important to note that no experiments have been conducted as of yet, and theories in this book are based on the author's hypotheses. The Blood Moon, huh? Interesting. Alto tried to look for the name of the book's author, but could not find any. A book without the author's name. How strange. Which book should I read next? Oh, so I can read them all. Okay, let's do it. The Exiled God of Knowledge, huh? I remember reading this myth as a child. I guess it doesn't hurt to read it again. The God of Knowledge was one of the gods who lived eternally in the realm above ours, the Sky Realm. He was fond of anything and everything related to Gaia and dedicated his entire life to researching the roots of magic itself. However, as he collected knowledge upon knowledge, he began to turn away from the other gods and schemed a wicked plan against them. The gods, fearing his power and abundance of knowledge, eventually sealed his magical powers and sent him away to Gaia as punishment. It is said that even now, the God of Knowledge is plotting to take revenge on the Sky Realm, staging his own revolution down here in Gaia. The Chalia Tribe. The Chalia Tribe. They were the inhabitants of Chalia, where the Chrismalia project is currently headquartered. Anyway, I suppose it's a good start to read some history about them. The Chalia tribe is characterized by their very pale skin, akin to that of snow, their white hair and grayish eyes. They have a higher tolerance to cold and, conversely, a very low tolerance to heat. They are also called the Snow Ghost tribe, because travelers often mistake them as ghosts due to their appearance and lack of presence. See, like KISHA has blonde hair. I would have thought that maybe he was one of them, just from this description alone, but he doesn't have white hair. Sometimes they would appear in a snowstorm, surprising passersby. Just like how quickly snow melts, the Chalia people have very short lifespans and are prone to sickness. The average lifespan of a snowman is 30 years. They are considered to be the weakest tribe in Gaia, but they are hardly mentioned because of their weak presence. Many people don't even know about their existence. Wow, 30 years? I'd be almost dead. I'd be at the point like, hey, you're gonna die soon. Oh, thinking about it, I don't like it. They are a peaceful, harmonious race, which, unfortunately, made them the target of slavery after their homeland was raided. Little to no survivors exist. This book says that they were the target of slavery, but it doesn't go into further detail. Just how could people be so cruel? Okay, Desert Falcons. The Desert Falcons is a top-tier guild renowned for all backhanded, under-the-table, and extremely suspicious dealings. That's not a very professional way to start a book, but okay. You got me hooked. They house the best bounty hunters in Gaia, who can locate and give your ex a good ass whooping. Stop. An information specialist who can find the last name of your great-great-great-grandmother's long-lost sister. This book is getting weirder and weirder with every word. Sounds as if... Think you got what it takes to join us? Well then, what are you waiting for? Join us today. Yep, it's an advertisement. Which book should I read? That's all. I read all the books. I think that's enough reading for today. As if on cue, KISHA emerged from the bookshelves, looking as wary as ever. KISHA, over here! It looks like he's worried about something. I wonder what he's thinking about. Sorry to keep you waiting. Shall we get moving? Yes, let's. Alto followed KISHA back outside. Let's head off to the market and get some supplies. Al Sharan was populated with merchants, so it was not difficult to find an array of vendors selling all sorts of goods. It was there they purchased all of their essentials: water, dried food, ink, parchments of paper, as well as herbs and potions whose names Alto could not remember. Alright, that should be all from the list. Is there anything else we may need? There's something else I'd like to do. Alto, can you wait here for a while? Wait, let me accompany... But KISHA had already disappeared in the crowd, leaving Alto alone. He's got some secrets. Girl, follow him. Can I have the choice to follow him? And there he goes, again. I wonder what's so important to have him go rushing like that. Well, guess I'll just wait here for him. Girl, no, follow him! Alto steered clear of the crowds and settled on waiting beside the market's entrance, idly watching merchants advertise their products to passers-by. What a lively city. I remember how I used to dream of venturing out from the village as a child. Perhaps a trip to the snowy Leicester, a magical city of Wycott, the beachy Palmer, or even the scorching Al Sharan. But of course, my parents would not let me. I felt like I was a bird stuck in a cage. Our village was nice and peaceful, of course, but I wanted to see the world. It was only when I insisted to be a knife. A knife? What? No way does that say knife. What is wrong with me? I'm sorry. I don't know why I read that as knife instead of knight. It was only when I insisted to be a knight and passed their exams that they let me leave. Well, what matters is I'm here now. It still feels like a dream. An image of KISHA flashed in her mind. But I wonder how long this dream will last. Hello? Okay, I want to do some kind of creepy Hey baby girl, you hurt? Huh? Hurt? The man winked. When you fell from the sky realm? Oh god. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm most certainly unharmed and I didn't fall from anywhere. Man, you're a tough one. That didn't work, huh? The man rummaged in his pocket and fished out a book, reading it like an almanac before closing it again. Okay, what about this? Are you a bar of gold? 'Cause you're priceless. Oh god. Oh, I get it now. He's trying to sell me his goods. Alto, girl! Girl, how long have you been living under a rock? Sorry, but I'm not interested in buying your bar of gold. No! Got me all wrong. Look, I was trying to hit on you. He sighed. I can't believe I have to spell it out. Hit on me? Does she even not know what that means? She probably thinks, well, he's gonna hit me? It took a few moments for Alto to make sense of his words. She always thought that boys considered her as more of an ape than a girl, so the idea of someone flirting with her left her speechlessly baffled. Oh, thanks? So what about it? You want to go for a drink with me? I'm honored by your advances, but I can't leave my post. No, don't tell him you're honored. Just say no. Because that'll give him false, hope. Entitlement. Huh? What's with that tone? What are you, a knight wannabe? So what if I am a knight? Impossible. A frail girl like you wouldn't be cut out for such an arduous job. Instead, you should be where you belong. In my heart, that is. Oh my god. Oh my god. Stop. I can't. I'm cringing all the way into my seat. I can't. Ugh. He winked playfully once more, but Alto was not amused in the slightest. Instead, a sudden anger bubbled in her chest. The words that escaped the man's mouth, though used in a different context, did resurface painful memories she would rather forget. Then why don't you let me send you back to where you belong? To the Sky Realm, that is. The man cowered in fear at Alto's sudden aggression, ready to retreat at the slightest of her movement. Alto, stop. KISHA, don't make a fuss here, else we'll have a commotion. Alto quickly retracted her weapon, her anger quickly subsiding after seeing some passers-by looking at them. Sorry. What was I thinking? I almost blew my cover. If someone happened to know, I'm a wanted knight. KISHA turned to the man with a piercing glare. You best leave us. Seems like she's got a man already. Playing with my feelings like that. How horrible. My poor heart is aching. Like, okay. The man left, disappointed after seeing KISHA. Are you alright? That man didn't hurt you, did he? I'm fine. I would have given him a nice punch in the face if you hadn't interrupted me, though. That was my first time being hit on. I have to say, it feels weird being considered as a woman for once. Sol and the knights I've worked with always said I resemble a gorilla more than a human, much less a woman. I wonder if are there any other female knights, or is she the only one? That can't be. You're the prettiest woman I've ever met. Oh, KISHA, you must not have met a lot of girls then. I'm starting to feel a little sorry for you. Anyway, what were you doing earlier, leaving me alone like that? KISHA scratched the back of his neck, looking a bit bashful. Well, I was fixing something. That sounds mighty suspicious. What exactly were you up to? Yeah, he's not the best liar, is he? Well, I wanted to give you this later, but I guess now's a good time. Hold out your hands. That another gift? KISHA, you've done enough for me. You really don't have to. Come on, just do as I say. KISHA took Alto's hand and unfurled her fingers, placing something warm in her palm. It was a flower-shaped pendant, a ruby embedded in its center. The pin welded on its back looked new, yet the pendant itself looked like a family heirloom. The pendant once belonged to my mother. I asked a craftsman to attach it to a pin for you earlier. Eh? Why would you give me something as important as this? Yeah, why? You've known her for what, 2 days? No reason. I just want you to have it. But to give me your mother's pendant, just take it. You can treat it as a good luck charm. I'm still a bit confused, but Alto fixed the pin on her clothes. Thank you, KISHA. I'll take good care of it. Good. Now let's get going. All right. I think we're done with what we need to do here. Let's move on to our delivery to the Hoshira district. Why did I read that as district? I've been wanting to ask you this, KISHA, but what exactly are we going to deliver? The thought of delivering something unknown again gives me the chills. Knowing you, it can't be anything dangerous, but it would give me a greater peace of mind if you were to tell me. Relax. It's nothing as dangerous as what you've been through. All I need to do is deliver a book. A book? Are its contents so special that it requires you to deliver it personally? Why can't you just send it through a courier? Courier. Like, how do I pronounce that word? I don't... Well, it's an important book. It fell into the wrong hands. Or if it was robbed... If it fell into the wrong hands, or if it was robbed along the way, it could spell dire consequences for me. I see. But Hoshira Desert is a big place. Where or who exactly are we going to deliver the book to? The place we're going is to drop the book in is called the Underground Library. The Underground Library? I never heard of it before. As the name suggests, it's a library located underground. The entrance to this library is kept a secret, and only certain individuals are granted access to it. Oh, then it must be an exclusive library for alchemists and scholars like you. Did you perhaps borrow a book and forget to return it and just have realized it's already long overdue? Well, something like that. No, I must ask you not to mention this place to anyone. Merely having knowledge of the location would add a few more digits to the bounty on your head. I'll keep my mouth shut. I promise. Let's get going then. Just as they were leaving the marketplace, Alto's eyes caught a group of children running around, playing with toys she had never seen before. Upon closer inspection, the toys seemed to be powered by magic. Alto, after all, had never seen flowers come alive and bloom by a mere object. Another toy one of the children was carrying created wind currents that let them glide at superhuman speed. It truly looked as if they were flying. Alto, what's wrong? Look at those toys. How is it possible that the devices can make flowers and wind currents without magic? Contrary to Alto's enthusiastic expression, KISHA did not seem particularly interested in the invention. The toys themselves are powered by magic. See that blue crystal embedded in the device's body? It acts as the toy's power source. Oh wow, I see it! The blue crystal! If I recall, that's the Chrismalia Project's trademark. That means they're a part of the project's inventions, right? It would appear so. Oh, that's amazing! This is the first time I'm seeing their inventions! All of their products were banned in Zathania after all. Would you look at that? If only I can learn to craft something like that. Maybe one day I'll get the chance to work with the project. Work with them? Are you insane? KISHA's unprecedented outburst came as a shock to Alto. You don't know what they've sacrificed to reach the stage. What's your problem? You sound like you have some major beef with them. Girl, why are you using that phrase, you have beef with them? It just seems like an out of place phrase for the setting in which this story takes place. Sorry, I didn't mean to. No, it's my fault. I didn't mean to raise my voice. That's strange. He showed no signs of being antagonistic towards the project yesterday, but the moment I said I wanted to work with him, For you to be so adverse to the project, there must be a reason for it. Of course there's a reason. He's got secrets. KISHA looked uncomfortable with the remark. I notice you've been keeping a lot of things from me, KISHA. But it's alright. I can wait until you're ready to tell me. Oh, look at his little face. Thanks, Alto. But there's something you should know about the Chrismalia Project's methods. This is probably one of the reasons why Zathania was so antagonistic towards their goals. Their methods? extracting magic and utilizing it. Have you ever thought about how they did it? Admittedly, no. But I heard rumors that they extracted magic from nature. Nature is a broad term, Alto. They sucked it from people. The grass, the sky, the entirety of Gaia, you and me. We're all part of nature. Taking small amounts of energy, or flux, as scholars call it, from living but inanimate objects like trees and flowers is indeed possible through much research. But the flux produced from these natural objects is very, very insignificant. To better illustrate the effectiveness of this method, say you manage to gather an entire room of flowers and extract flux from it. The flux produced from these flowers would only be enough to power an old lamp for 1 second. Huh? Can magic produce that little? Yes, which means the project could not have merely harnessed the energy of inanimate objects in Gaia. They must have extracted flux from something else. Something else? Like what? I think you know. KISHA stifled a laugh, enjoying the look of curiosity painted all over the girl's bewildered face. Who knows? That's for you to figure out. They do it from people. There, I figured it out. No way. You must know something. Oh, please tell me, great alchemist KISHA. On second thought, it's better for you to never know the answer. It's funny how you're saying that right after you told me to figure it out by myself. KISHA suddenly placed his hand on Alto's shoulder and fixed his gaze directly into her eyes. You must listen to me, Alto. You must not stick your nose into any of the project's business. Do not, ever, acquaint yourself with them, do you hear me? Zathania has a legitimate reason to start a war with them, even if, admittedly, politics is also a major factor. Despite the sweet promises that they made, they are a dangerous bunch. Nothing good will emerge from following their footsteps. Remember that. The alchemist released his grip on Alto, not realizing that his strong grasp had hurt her shoulder. Nothing good will emerge from following in their footsteps? Does that mean humanity will never be able to extract a magic from nature and make magic accessible to everyone? I don't believe that. Alto glanced at the children again, watching happiness exude from their smiles. Yeah, it can't be right. There must be a way to make everyone experience the joy of magic. I don't think so, without killing a bunch of people. Chapter 4, Secrets Within the Mist. After exiting the port city of Al-Sharan, the two headed into the vast Hoshira desert, with KISHA leading the way. Alto, who had never been to the desert area before, imagined it to be an area infested with sandstorms, cacti, and the scorching sun. Yet little did she expect that KISHA led her into a forest. At first, it consisted of occasional withered trees around her, but they grew denser and denser with every step. The sand beneath their feet gradually turned to gravel. Man, this place gives me the chills. Is this forest really a part of the Hoshira Desert? We're at the outskirts of the desert. This forest spans a large area, but hardly anyone visits it. There's not much you can harvest here anyway. Alto looked around her. There was nothing much except for withered trees and sun-baked bushes. Well, I could imagine. The sunlight was just strong a few minutes ago, but these trees have blocked out most of it. It feels a bit creepy. Another reason why many people avoid this area is because it houses peculiar races of beasts. What? What happened? Did she fall down? The two assumed a defensive stance, but there was nothing. Nothing? But I could have sworn I heard the bushes rustle. Maybe it's just a wild animal. Let's not tarry any longer. This forest is quite dangerous, especially with these flowers around. Flowers? You mean these gray-colored ones? Be careful not to touch them. They are called silver blooms, and are native only in this area. If you touch them, or if they detect you as a predator, they'll produce a lot of mist. Mist? Are they dangerous? The mist itself isn't dangerous, but they would pose a problem for our sights, especially when it's nearing dusk. Oh, don't tell me you used them when you rescued me back in Sithania. You got a keen eye. Although these flowers only grow in this forest, they are sold in other kingdoms as well. There's not much use for them, though, unless it was to create a smokescreen. But these silver blooms really saved my life. And so they did. Another thing about these flowers is that they create the perfect cover-up. I see. It's a perfect place to keep a secret library hidden. I suppose you can say that. KISHA and Alto continued to chat as they walked, but Alto could not help but feel uneasy. The tall trees that populated the understory cast dark shadows on the forest floor, and the sunlight that permeated through their branches was sparse, making seeing anything around them difficult. Yet despite all of that, KISHA was able to walk briskly, as if he knew where he was headed to by heart. Alto was about to ask him about that when she suddenly heard footsteps behind her, followed by something being launched. "KISHA! Duck!" Oh no. The two managed to avoid the explosion just in time, yet it only took a moment to realize that they were completely surrounded. A group of men, most likely bounty hunters, circled around them, weapons glinting in their hands. "Your acquaintances, KISHA?" "Certainly not." Alto leapt to her feet, unslinging her makeshift spear from her back. "Hey, you! What do you think you're doing, attacking us out of the blue like that?" Alto was met with a dagger pointing to her head. "Scram, girl, unless you want to get hurt." "Yeah, our business is with that man over there." "So they're not here for me? I thought they saw my wanted poster around and were chasing my head for the rewards." "What do you want from me? And who are you?" "Oh, don't mind us. We just want to take you to where you belong." "Back to the Chrismalia project, that is." "KISHA!" The man lunged at KISHA, thrusting his dagger at him. Alto pushed KISHA away, parrying his attack with her own weapon. "KISHA, run! I'll catch up to you once I'm done with them." "You can't defeat them alone." "Just go!" "I'm not letting you go anywhere." Who was that? Who was saying that? Before Alto could react, one of the bounty hunters had knocked the spear from her hands, leaving her weaponless. "Alto, look out! KISHA!" Alto stared in horror as blood spurted out from KISHA's abdomen, spraying like a fountain while draining all the color from his face. The alchemist dropped to his knees, breathing hard as he pressed on his fatal wound, face contorted with pain. Alto rushed to aid him, disbelieving at how much blood he had lost. "I'm so sorry. I told you I'd protect you, but..." "Get out of here, Alto. Their target is me, not you." "What are you saying? I couldn't possibly leave you. This body... will be okay." Why did he say it like that? That was a weird way to say, like, he said this body, as if the body is not his original body. Maybe it's his body. I don't know. Something's weird. He's hiding a lot of things. "No, you're not okay. Look at how much blood you've..." With the last ounce of his strength, KISHA managed to kick the bushes around him, forcing some of the silver blooms out of their sepals? I don't know how to... So many words I only read and I don't hear, so I don't know how they're pronounced. I'm sorry. I'm not dumb, I promise. The flowers instantly emitted plumes of smoke, enshrouding them in a thick silver mist. While their attackers were distracted in the sudden chaos, KISHA pushed the book he had always been carrying to Alto. The book was laced with his blood. Alto, can you do me a favor? No, don't act like you're dying here. Come on. Alto grabbed Keisha's arm and placed it around her shoulders, trying her best to lift him. Alto, listen to me. You need to take this book to the underground library. Come on, Kisha! Surely your life is more important than this book. No. This is more important. Just shut your mouth and let's get out of here. Look, these silver blooms will cover us. We just need to run as fast as we... Are you two done talking? That voice... A raven-haired male, not older than Alto, stood towering over them, somehow able to locate their presence despite the thick mist. For Kisha, he was just another one of the bounty hunters, but for Alto, those amber eyes, half-braided hair, and the dangling feather on his ear meant something else to her. Soul? Long time no see, Alto. What are you doing here? You're with these bounty hunters? It's a long story, but you're not far from the truth. Now step aside. My target is that man over there, not you. No, stop! Why are you targeting him? He's innocent. He's my savior. Savior, huh? What if I were to tell you that he's a wanted criminal? Soul, I hate to break it to you, but Alto is also a wanted criminal. And that by turning him in, we can meet the person who's most precious to both of us. Soul, what are you saying? Kisha, a criminal? That can't be. Don't listen to him. And run, Alto! Run! Soul had a strange contraption, akin to a flask, in one of his hands. He activated it, and it glimmered despite all the mist. I'm thinking, hold on, this is random. The voice I gave Soul and the voice I gave Kisha is too similar. I'm like, I want to give Soul a British accent, or like something to distinguish them. I'm not really good at I try with the males, and like, there's no way I could do it justice, but I try. That file. It can't be. Alto did not know what he was about to do with the device, but something inside her told her that this might be the last time she could see Kisha again. So, don't do it! It all happened in a fraction of a second. As soon as Soul opened the vial, Kisha's body immediately turned limp. Color drained from his face, and all the light in his eyes faded to white. His body dropped to the ground with a dull thud, and there it lay, lifeless, unmoving, reduced to nothing more than a corpse. Kisha! Alto shook him with all her might, hoping that there was at least a sign, any sign, that may indicate a faint hope of life. But there was none. See, what I'm thinking is this. So this is my theory. He said before, this body. And that phrase was very weird. That, like, you wouldn't say that if you got stabbed in the abdomen, you're like, oh, this body, it'll be okay, or something like, no, you wouldn't say that. So I think that whatever was in the vial, kind of like in Harry Potter with Dumbledore and the, what's it called? The Illuminator? Where you flick it and it takes the lights. But I think that vial took Kisha's soul. And like, his soul is alive, but his body is not. So he just goes from body to body. Does that make any sense? I don't think I'm making any sense, but that is my theory, that he's not dead right now, but his body is dead, and he doesn't have a body, in the sense that it's not his real body. It's just the body that he occupies, his soul occupies, and the vial was what took his soul out. I don't know how, I don't know why, but we'll find out, I guess. Kisha's blank eyes stared into hers, and she knew at that moment that he was gone. Enraged, she grabbed Soul's collar and punched him in the face. Soul did not retaliate. You idiot! What have you done? You just took a person's life, and not just that, he's my friend. Alto, you've forgotten about our promise. Promise? That has nothing to do with this. I'm just fulfilling my part of it. He pushed Alto away, throwing her towards the ground. I promise I'll bring her back. We'll be reunited again, and it will be just like in the old times. No, I don't want the old times. I want KISHA. With that, Soul turned away to his group of bounty hunters, leaving Alto alone with the corpses of her savior. Hey, Soul, should we grab the girl? No, leave her alone. We've got what we wanted. Aw, she's cute. Have some fun with her. Soul pressed a dagger on his neck before he can continue any further. Touch her, and I'll kill you. Jeez, I was just kidding. You don't have to get so worked up, man. Yeah. Let's go to the headquarters and get the rewards now. Soul sheathed his dagger and walked ahead of his fellow bounty hunters. He glanced at the vial in his hand, gripping it tight. Sorry, Alto, but this is for the best. No, it's not. He's heavy. Stop, stop. Oh, is she gonna bury him? Listen, if she buries him, I'm gonna lose my mind. I can't. Dragging KISHA's body was not an easy feat, but there was no way she could leave him alone, even though she knew that his body was now nothing more than an empty husk. Guilt gnawed at her with every step she took, and she beat herself up for failing to protect KISHA, her savior, her friend, her... Was it strange to say that she actually admired him? Tears continued spilling down her cheeks like there was no tomorrow. She tasted her salty tears, mixed with drops of sweat and blood from her chapped lips. Why? If only I were faster, if only I blocked that attack aimed at me, then he would still be... And why was Soul with them? How dare he? Unable to contain her frustration anymore, she threw her bag to the ground, screaming her lungs out in anguish. She stopped in front of a tree and hit it and hit it and hit it over and over again until her knuckles bled and the exhaustion brought her down to her knees. Ignoring the coarse gravel that pricked at her knees, she crawled to where KISHA's body lay and gently cupped his cheeks. He was cold, impossibly cold. What am I thinking? Of course he wouldn't emanate any warmth. He's dead. KISHA's dead. She couldn't even stop someone who she considered one of her closest friends. Why would Soul do this? For their promise? But why would their promise involve KISHA? She shook her head, attempting to push away the thoughts clouding her mind. Staring down at the alchemist, she couldn't help but feel the pain well up in her chest again. KISHA's golden hair was flowing in the wind, surrounded by zinnias. KISHA's blinding smile from beneath the crown of flowers. KISHA's hand in hers. She'd never see, never feel any of it again. All that remained were her memories and a painting he'd said he'd treasure. And that was gone too, lost in the ambush. Alto clutched her chest. If there was a salve or an herb that could ease this feeling, she'd never know. Not without KISHA. She slammed her fist into the ground in a fit of rage, all the regrets and unanswered questions bubbling in her mind. If only I... Interpreting her outburst was KISHA's book. Interpreting. Clearly, maybe I can't read. Interrupting her outburst was KISHA's book, which had somehow slid out of her backpack. The book. That's right. I still need to fulfill his final wishes and deliver it back to the underground library. Screw it. What's so important about this book that you'd risk your life to deliver it anyway? Alto picked up the book and flipped through a few pages of it. It was written in a language she had never seen before. She had no way of comprehending it. Nevertheless, she continued to flip through the book, running her fingers on each page as if she could still feel KISHA's presence through its pages. I'm beginning to feel sleepy. Is it alright if I just sleep here and find the library tomorrow? Perhaps it was all just a bad dream. And who knows? Maybe when I wake up tomorrow, this nightmare will go away. Hugging the book in her arms, she took refuge among the silver flowers, letting their mists whisk her away to slumber. This is depressing. In the dead of night, there was not a soul, where not a soul stirred in the withered forest. A certain entity decided to finally escape their hiding place, the prison they had willingly placed themselves in. But the silver blooms were the only witnesses to what transpired that night. The book Alto held as the silver mist lulled her to sleep suddenly glowed with a faint gold hue, pulsating as if it were breathing. Just as the light dimmed and eventually died, the life hidden between the book's pages shifted to another inanimate entity, the dead body of a self-proclaimed alchemist. What? I'm sorry, what? What? There is another life, quote, inside the book, a soul, and now it's inside of KISHA? Is it KISHA or is it not KISHA? Is it, what's happening? There, between the mist and the withered trees, breath was brought back into the man's body. The silver blooms watched it all, colors returning to the man's skin, air to his lungs, and all the ruptured arteries stitching themselves back again. It was as if time had rewound, and he was never injured at all. His eyes fluttered open, their blank pupils replaced with their original magenta hue. The man stretched, somewhat uncomfortable with the body he was in, and shuffled to his feet. Yeah, that's not KISHA, is it? It's somebody else, using his body as a vessel. But then again, I feel like KISHA also was using the body as a vessel. Right? So, like, I think the soul that was in it when we met him as Alto was a different one, and it was taken out and put in that vial, and now this is a different soul, so this isn't him, right? For the soul residing in the man's body, it was truly a strange occurrence to have eyes, ears, and a mouth once again. Nevertheless, the body was once his, and he smiled when he noticed his body had welcomed him without any hostility. Wait, so the soul inside of the book was contained... No, the soul inside of the book was this body's original soul. Then who the heck have we been talking to this whole time? Who? What? Ah, man. They really did a handful on my body. It's been a while since I felt pain. Now that kid has been taken away, I'm afraid I need to restructure the plan again. If only the project hadn't issued a bounty on my head, I wouldn't have had to go through so much trouble. I didn't expect them to act this quickly. The reawakened man finally took notice of the girl who had fallen asleep with the book in her arms. Ah, her. The girl who KISHA has taken a liking to, and also the one who blew up the headquarters. What should I do with her now? She's seen too much. The most logical solution would be to purge her. But... never mind. I'll deal with her later. The man walked away from the site, traversing through the mists as if he knew the forest like the back of his own hand. Eventually, he stopped at a small clearing and bent down, brushing off the sand and rocks before his hand touched the carvings etched on a familiar door. It has been a while. Home sweet home. Oh, how I've missed you. Gold light glowed from the door, illuminating the site momentarily. As it died down, it revealed a circular crevice on the ground, leading to a set of spiral staircases. The man took his first steps into the underground hatch, but stopped halfway, realizing that he had forgotten something, or, more specifically, a certain someone. He sighed, retracing his route and returning to the site where the girl lay asleep. Man, how troublesome. Why must I clean up someone else's mess? He mustered all of his strength to lift the unconscious girl in his arms, but his fragile body was incapable of doing so. Gosh, why are you so heavy? In the end, he settled on draping her across his shoulders, half carrying and half dragging her into the underground library. He could see fresh tears staining her small face, the injuries she had sustained, and the unpleasant dreams she was having. The girl stirred in her sleep. Over and over again, the girl was calling out a name, but the man could not care less, for that name was not his. Ooh, this is so good. Oh, it's so good. I like it a lot. Okay, chapter 5, the Underground Library. I'm going to save here. And I'm going to wrap up this part here, and we will continue chapter 5 in the next one. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm actually enjoying the story immensely now. Like that whole chapter 4 was crazy, and it really made me like the story so much more. So I'm really looking forward to delving deeper into the story and learning more about, like, who is this person? Who is KISHA? If he's like, is he just a soul without a body? Like, I don't understand, but I guess that's what we're gonna keep reading to find out. We're gonna wrap up this part here, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.